Hello there, fight fans, aficionados, the likes, all of that. I am here, Joshua, along with Boz, representing Boxing Chit. We're here. So you're on 86 Boxing Channel. You're on Boz's Boxing. You're on all those different platforms. But we appreciate you being here. What's going on with you there, Boz?
Yeah, well, we got winter, now it's gotten really cold here, but it doesn't, of course, it doesn't show by my clothing, but still, the heating is good here, so it's become really chilly outside. Still no snow, but it is forecast to fall soon anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
So the snow is already hitting the ground there. I had a dream I was walking in snow last night, as a
Mm,
matter of fact, which is pretty crazy, but no snow
yeah.
here where I'm at yet. Weather's still pretty decent, getting a little bit colder, but hey, as they say, or as we say, in the world of boxing, rains, fleet of snow, the show must
It's
go
cool.
on. And that is the case here as well. So, for those that will be joining us here live, as well as those that will be watching on the replay, hey, do us a solid. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. We appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Skills from New Orleans. Salute there to your Skills. Hey, representing for my favorite team right there as well. I'm from down that way right there. Them Nowlin Saints. All right, good stuff there, Skills. Appreciate you dropping by there, buddy. We're here. We're going to be talking about some of the boxing action that took place this past weekend. Of course, the big event was a rematch, the return bout for two bitter rivals, I guess you can say. And it's been brewing here over the last several years, but I guess you can say even beyond that when you factor in the fathers of each of the fighters, and that's none other than Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, a British rivalry that continues to hold strong there. And their rematch took place on Saturday. It went down in England. It was at the Tottenham Hotspurs stadium there. So where Tottenham plays, so they were able to fill that out and get a bunch of people in to show some love there. So that's showing that hey, there was a lot of buzz up out there, and there were some heavy players there in attendance as well there. So
Mm.
we know that first fight classic, definite classic. This fight didn't have that same back and forth, and it was more of a dominant performance on the hands of one Conor Benn, who's looked the best that he's ever looked here as a pro, as far as I'm concerned, in doing what he was able to do to Chris Eubank over the course of that dominant, unanimous, unquestioned victory. So, Boz, I want to get your thoughts on that, on how Conor Benn looked, as well as Chris Eubank, and the potential for, I guess you can say, a trilogy.
Yeah. Wow, that was really a one-sided fight. Very dominant performance by Conor Benn. He didn't make the same mistake as the first time. He didn't just go all out at once. He didn't try to knock Eubank out, and he instead concentrated on boxing, but also he landed a lot of punches. Yeah, he was still aggressive, but it wasn't like went just all out like in the first 3 rounds of the first fight. So I thought Eubank had his best moment in the first round when he landed a good punch there, but other than that, it was just very sporadic. He would land a punch here and then, here and there, and otherwise he was just being outclassed by Conor Benn, who also managed to drop him in the end, of course. And yeah, Eubank looked hurt there, definitely. You have a feeling that if there were more, maybe 30 seconds more, maybe he could have been stopped. Who knows? I mean, he's a very tough guy, but at 36 now, of course, no longer in his prime. And the first fight, obviously, really, took a lot out of him, obviously, and he made quite a performance there, of course. But last night, that wasn't the real Chris Eubank Jr. And yeah, it was just a bad idea, obviously, for him to take this rematch because even then he had a lot of problem with dehydration and all that, and him being a natural super middleweight at 36, going down to 160 it wasn't smart to begin with, and his father was very against that, as you know. I mean, probably. So yeah, it all, and also Conor Benn being very motivated for revenge and to kind of avenge the family name as well, because his father, he had, back in '93 when he had his rematch with Eubank Senior, he should have won, but he got a point deducted, so it was a draw instead.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this was kind of a revenge for that, you might say. But as for a trilogy, I don't know. I don't think so. This was always kind of a physical mismatch, to begin with. Conor Benn, he has said that he wants to go back to 147 also. So yeah, him just having another fight at 160 wouldn't be very good for him, I think. And even though Chris Eubank is as Dave the White Rhino put it, Alan, shot to bits. Well, it seemed like anyway that last night. So yeah. So now it's 1-1, and but yeah, also Nigel Benn said that his son will not fight a third fight. He was like, "No way, there will be no trilogy." So yeah, I
All
hope
right.
not.
Well, time will certainly tell. Real quick, shout out to Bruce Gatz, Boxing Jads and more, who dropped in. Appreciate you there, Bruce. He says, salute Boz in 86. Appreciate you, Bruce. Be sure to go check him out, folks. Bruce has some good content over there, and he touches on some boxing history for those that are into it for sure, and he does some quizzes. I haven't won, but that being said, I'm still going to give it a shot each time out there. Appreciate you dropping by there, Bruce. Shout out to Jose in the mix there as well. Jose Diaz. Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate you there, Jose. As always, the aficionado there. Anything Cuban boxing, Jose's the man. That's where you go right there. Real talk. Shout out to Kane and the animations for dropping in. Appreciate you there, Kane. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining us here. 86 Boxing Chit. Feel free to hit that like button, subscribe if you can. Be sure to check out Boz's Boxing as well. We try to bring this to you every Sunday, so we're doing our thing here right now. But yeah, Conor Benn and Chris Eubank, the fight of the night there, as far as you're looking at it from a marquee standpoint. Yeah, I feel where you're coming from there, Boz. Maybe there won't be a third fight. Chris Eubank seemed to allude to, I guess, potentially some issues or whatever heading into the camp, and maybe that was primarily directed towards weight and cutting, but it's hard to say with full totality, but I know he's also, I guess, in the midst of having a set of twins based on what was stated by Conor Benn in the aftermath there. So who knows? But that being said, he was a bit flat in that contest, never really able to turn anything on, and he spent pretty much the entirety of the time backing up. Now, he did some of that in the first fight as well, and we know that Conor Benn is an aggressive fighter, come forward. He likes to fight off the front foot, and I just thought that Chris Eubank never really made that adjustment to even try to push himself forward to try to switch it up from being primarily caught with his back against the ropes or angled in such a manner. And maybe it is because of the weight or the training or whatever it may be, how the fight coming so soon in the aftermath. But either way, Conor Benn looked great. He, as I noted, probably had his best performance just from an overall perspective. Of course, that's debatable, but I think his best performance, what he was able to do, and he looked pretty calm and cool just leading up to it, especially when they were interviewing him in the back. He wasn't overly charged up. He seemed to have his head on him, and he was focused, as you noted there. And a focused Conor Benn seemed to be a pretty dangerous Conor Benn, and he was able to hurt Chris Eubank. And when he dropped him there in the 12th those two times, hey, had it been another round or so, then maybe that would have been a different outcome. It could have been an actual stoppage or something of that nature. So props to Conor Benn, and he looked good at 160 there, Conor Benn. And I was asking myself, in the immediate aftermath of the fight, like what would be next for Conor Benn? Would he stay there at 160? Would he move to 154? Would he try to go back down to 147? And from all indication, it looks to be 147 is going to be the aim. Now, he of course has the frame where 147 seemingly wasn't an issue as far as him making weight. So it'll be interesting to just kind of see, because I think he packed maybe put on a little bit more muscle. There, just being at 160 is not overly developed or anything, but it'll be interesting to see how he looks dropping back down to 147. Now, I will say it makes sense considering he jumped from 47 straight to 160. I thought maybe 154 could be the next logical stop for him if he were going to drop down a slight bit, because 154 is also pretty stacked right now. But 154 opens up a whole another level of danger, because all of the top 147 pounders over the last couple of years have already gone up to 154, though 147 does have some pretty darn good fighters there overall. So that's going to be interesting right there. And a couple of names he threw out there, Ryan Garcia. Well, that's one name he threw out there. I can't remember the other ones, but he threw out Ryan Garcia's name. Okay, Mario Barrios. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting there, that move back down and what he could do at 147, assuming he looks like he did here last night. Then, yeah, he could actually challenge some individuals there. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 147 is a more open division, let's say, or it would be easier for him to win a world title there than at 154, definitely, which is so stacked, and I would really love to see him fight either of those guys. I mean, even Brian Norman Jr. maybe, or Mario Barrios or Ryan Garcia would be, really good. Phenomenal fights, I think. I think he would beat Barrios for sure. He's just too good technically, I think, for Barrios. It's just that Barrios is a long, kind of tall fighter for a welterweight, but still, Conor would definitely win that fight. And I think he can beat Ryan Garcia as well, who can be a little bit erratic sometimes. Not very, always so stable or focused in a fight. And as for Brian Norman Jr. would be a tougher task, definitely, I think, for him. But not impossible one, definitely. I mean, even Nigel Benn has said that. He says, my son is a better fighter than I ever was. He said he's a lot smarter than I was, And I guess, it's true. Nigel was always a puncher and,
pretty aggressive.
A brawler. So that's for sure that Conor can box when needed. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Yeah, no, that makes sense right there for sure. So, I'm just thinking about it. Yeah, 147, pretty enticing. And like you said, a lot of opportunity there. So I think that some things can certainly happen for him if he gets back down there and does well. Bruce Gass says he hasn't fought at welterweight since 2022. Okay, so he's 29 now as well. Factor that in. So that's going to be a little cut for him there, because he did have a good period of time off. Maybe that saves face for him in some capacity, but who knows though. Wyatt, cheers there. Wyatt likes to box. Thank you. Thank you for dropping in there. Wyatt dropped in a comment there touching on boxing history. Wyatt says, who else thinks young Stripling should be more known by a large portion? Of course, he should be there. I think we're on board with that old young Stripling. And he was a hell of a fighter. Fought a ton of fights, 200 plus fights. Did he win the light heavyweight title? Did he win the light heavyweight or middleweight? It might have been light heavyweight. Or did he win a title? I'm trying to remember if he won a title or not. I don't think he
won a title. He fought for it.
But I know he fought, 200 plus fights. And of course, unfortunately, died at 28, I believe. So he still has some fight left in him. So it's crazy to just think about the work that he was able to put in prior to actually his death or whatever. I think he's from Georgia, as a matter of fact, Georgia fighter. Because I remember some discussions regarding him tied to Tiger Flowers as well, the Georgia Deacon there. But no, good stuff there, Wyatt. He should be more widely known. As a matter of fact, might be worthy subject of a live at some point there. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to try to set some stuff up, but need to look a little bit more into young scribbling, but certainly a name that should be known there among these ranks. Bruce says he had his best big money fights. His best big money fight is at 154. No doubt about it. 154 will be where it's at for Conor Benn. And hey, maybe that's the case there. If he goes to 147 and doesn't look right, need to add a little bit more weight back on. 154 is there. I'd like to see it. And of course, we know the fight at 154 we're trying to see here with major implications that are going to be happening, or hopefully going to be happening at some point here soon, is going to be Virgil Ortiz and Duran Boots Ennis.
It will be a big drop, definitely, in weight from 161 to 147. So maybe right now, anyway, he should think about having his next fight at 154, and then see if it really suits him.
Yeah,
definitely. If he feels good or better at 154,
Because I think his first bout back after that suspension, or at least when he fought in the U.S., I think that was at 154 as well. So that's what I guess ties to that. As Bruce noted there, so 2022 was when he last fought at 154. So he's been, or 147 that is. So it has been a good little while there. So very interesting there. So Bruce dropped in Tuesday night trivia on his YouTube. So if you see that link, folks, be sure to save that. He's going to be doing some Tuesday night trivia. So we're looking forward there to it, Bruce. I'm going to try to drop by there myself there, buddy. Always enjoy it. Shout out to the others who attend and get in the mix there on the trivia nights, right? Hey, sometimes it gets a little bit tough right there at times, Shout out to Random Acoustic Thoughts in the mix here. Appreciate you there, Random Acoustic Thoughts. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. Be sure to go check him out, folks. You want to learn some boxing history, check out my man, Random Acoustic Thoughts, especially if you like the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. Like I love those eras myself there. You definitely want to check him out right there. So appreciate you dropping by, Random. And I've been saying it. I'm going to hit you up, Random. I got to hit you up because we got to set up something. Need to get you on here, buddy, because we can talk some history. Good stuff there. Appreciate you, Random. But thank you for everyone who's in the mix here. Be sure to like and subscribe. As mentioned, we were talking about the big boxing matches this weekend. Eubank versus Benn. That went down. That was a big card. The Ring and a bunch of other stuff was teased. But, filling out that card, they had some other fights there. One that was very interesting. You could argue the fight of the card in some sense was Jack Catterall making his return, taking on Usman. I think his name, what is it? Cairo or something?
Echo
Usman. Yeah, Echo. I forgot there for a little bit. Echo Usman, Jack Catterall, two damn good British fighters right there. Usman has, if you don't know, he has a win over Josh Taylor, which happened in their last contest. Usman also beat Chris Congo as well, who's decent. Welterweight there on the British side. And of course, Jack Catterall, he's been in the mix with a lot of the best just in general there, to include the likes of Regis Prograde, who he was able to get a victory over in what was a pretty good contest between the two, as a matter of fact. So Catterall ended up losing via split decision, I believe it was, to Arnold Barboza in a title contest. And that
was another good fight for him.
Another good one, good technical one as well. Split, I think it was a split decision, and Catterall's getting back in the mix, but he is actually now working with Bozy Ennis, so the father of Duran Boots Ennis, and I think so far it looks like it's paying some good dividends there, Boz, because he was able to pick up a stoppage in the 11th round of Usman. It could have come a little bit earlier than that, as a matter of fact, as well, but I will say Catterall was looking good there. What are your thoughts on Catterall, especially now under Boots Ennis's father, under that tutelage?
He's definitely changed. He's less cautious, and definitely was, swinging more and trying to get that stoppage, and he did it in the end. In the 4th round, he caught Essuman with a really good combination, right hand, left hook, and he dropped him, and Essuman looked hurt, and he was also bloodied over the nose before that. So he came back, kudos to him. Props. And he's a warrior, and So, but yeah, in the 11th round, he was there was some kind of freak knockdown first that happened that
Yeah.
seemed like Esselman was a little off balance, but he got hit also by a good shot by Carroll, and he was down. And then as he got up, he was driven to the ropes and bang, 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 and knocked
Yeah.
out by Carroll through the ropes by
Yeah.
this, a really good combination by Carroll, and he looked pretty, in a bad shape after that. Carroll would not celebrate right after that, so until he
Mhm.
knew that Asman was all right. So also credit to him for that, and yeah, definitely Carroll looked better than in his last few fights because you always could had a feeling that he could have maybe like against Linares, for instance, he could
Mhm.
have stopped him, but he didn't really go for that knockout there. He
Yeah.
kind of played it safe, you might say. But last night he was definitely much more aggressive, and yeah, he that's what we want to see, because if a guy does have power, so you want to see him score a KO, right? Eventually,
Oh
you don't
yeah.
want him to drop a guy first and then just let him get away, like he has done before, with certain people. But this is a very good win for Carroll because Essuman is a quality fighter, as you said, he
Mhm.
beat Josh Taylor, even though that wasn't the best version, of course, of Josh Taylor, but still,
Yeah.
he's a guy that outworks his opponents, Essuman,
Mhm.
definitely. But Carroll was too clever to be outworked, and even though Essuman won a few rounds there as well,
Yeah.
he came back, but yeah, great finish by Carroll anyway, definitely.
Oh
Now
yeah.
he's bound to. He's also at 147 now, by the way. So
Oh yeah.
it'll be interesting
That
to
is right.
follow him in future. Definitely, yeah.
That
So
is right. 147 there. Shout out Clubber D. Appreciate you there, Clubber D, the Combat G dropping by.
so,
Go subscribe to Clubber D, folks, at Clubber
yeah,
D right here on YouTube. Simple enough right there at Clubber D. Says salute fellows. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, buddy. I know we're gonna have a live stream coming up, I believe on Wednesday. So looking forward to that. So yeah, Catterall 147. I wasn't even thinking about it from that perspective, but it is right. 147. Another potential Conor Benn
mm,
opponent maybe down the road. Certainly a big domestic
oh
fight
yeah,
there. But I think that makes sense too. But Catterall, yeah, I thought he looked pretty good as well, and he's naturally a counter puncher. So he does
yeah,
kind of sit back at times, or at least he did it more previously, but he did take a little bit more of an aggressive approach and using that jab, which he has a pretty solid jab. And with that knockdown over Usman that came about, it was nice. It was a pretty knockdown right there because he just came over the top with his right because he is a southpaw as Usman threw a jab. He came right over the top. Shout out to Coach Ernesto. He even was teaching me how to work that right there. Just came right over the top. Caught him on the chin with a punch he didn't see. He didn't caught him with that straight left, and that put him down. So that was a beautiful combination right there. And Usman was legitimately hurt. And I think, hey, had there been more time in that round, hey, that could have been a potential round where
yeah.
Raw got him out of
Because
there.
Carroll really went for the knockout there. I mean, for a
Mm-hmm.
stoppage, but yeah, the bell rang, and then in the next round, he also looked like he might stop him, but
Yeah.
Asuman came back to his credit. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's an African warrior. He's from Botswana originally, actually. So
Botswana.
yeah,
Okay.
Mm.
That's dope right there. Yeah, he is certainly a warrior there, man. He did come back. I thought he was done at the end of that round, but hey, he worked his way back in. Even opened up a cut on Catterall's right eye, I believe, and he was landing some pretty solid shots right there. And I was like, oh my, might come down to the wire. I actually shout out to Champ Ross. I did the little fight picks. I had this fight going via draw, and for a point there, it looked like Esserman was going to work his way back in, and it just might end up being one of those type situations. But Catterall
yeah,
continued to do his thing right there, and I thought Catterall looked pretty good size wise there at the weight as well, and his punches seemed to be pretty effective, and that bodes well for him.
He looks strong. I mean, yeah, I think physically you might say he looked bigger than Esteban actually,
Yeah,
because even though Esteban is in great shape, he's got a little smaller build
yeah.
definitely than Carroll. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Catterall. Yeah, I think 147 is going to work for him, especially now with Bozy Ittis. My what a stable they're building there. He also has Andy Cruz, and of course he's got his son Boots. I mean, hey, that's got to be one of the top ones where people are reaching out. Now, Philadelphia always been top class fighting town right there. Philadelphia, just globally speaking, top class, top tier, some of the greatest fighters ever out of Philadelphia. You could argue from a collective standpoint, the most top tier fighters have come out of Philadelphia, or at least fought there on a regular basis and become
mm,
Philly fighters. That just tells you the sort of lineage and the history of Philadelphia. So, man, they're making some moves out there. For Essuman, he's 36, and he still looks to be in good shape and all of that stuff. It'll be interesting to see where he goes from here. We'll see how he does. I'm sure he can bounce back and do some things from a domestic standpoint and all of that. But hey, no shame. Catterall got the better of him on this one and really kind of busted him up for a good bit of it. But hey, we'll see what he does. But certainly looking forward to what's next for both of these guys. Really, Clubber D says very true. And Cruz has a title fight coming up. Oh yes. Andy Cruz, hey, one to watch right there, folks.
right.
If you don't know the Cuban sensation, Andy Cruz, one to watch. I want to eventually see him with Keyshawn Davis there at some point too. So we'll see as time goes
Yeah.
on. But for Catterall there, Boz, as far as what's next or what's immediate, not likely not Conor Benn. So even though, hey, they fought on the same day here, but it's likely not going to be Conor Benn. I'd be shocked if it were, but hey, maybe that's one that could happen. But that leaves, I guess, everything else on the table. I didn't hear the after interview or after fight, post fight interview. I don't know if he mentioned any names or whatnot, but some we threw out there, kind of the typical, I guess you could say. Mario Barrios is out there. Ryan Garcia to a degree, Devin Haney, Brian Norman, who are going to fight. So that one is
Oh, yeah.
coming up. Maybe that winner or loser could be on the table at some point. We'll see. Then you have the likes of I like him. He's from Latvia, or not Latvia, but Lithuania. He fought Boots Ennis and lost.
Oh,
Stanionis, yes.
Stanionis, yeah.
Montes
Yeah.
Stanionis. I've always liked Montes Stanionis. And so, yeah, some names out there. Manny Pacquiao still out there as well, of course. I thought I saw Manny Pacquiao supposed to be fighting someone, maybe Rolly Romero or something, maybe. So Rolly is there, I guess you can say. So some names there. So it'll be interesting to see who Catterall maybe ends up in with next.
Yeah. He's definitely not afraid to mix it up with the best competition there. So yeah, I really don't like those people just cherry pick. I don't think Carroll is a cherry picker. Definitely
No,
not.
no. He's fought some pretty solid competition, so I think he'll continue that. So we'll see though. Hey, another fight that went down there, Boz, is one featuring a guy who's with Overtime Boxing, Kurt Scobie, or Scooby
Whoa.
Snacks is what they call him, taking on Adam Azine. Now, I did pick Adam Azine heading into this contest, to be honest with you, but I didn't think he would be as dominant as he was, because it was a dominant performance. Not even a round, I don't think, could be given
Yeah.
to Scobie.
Great
And Adam
performance.
Azine looked good. He looks big at the weight. And I feel like this was like his sort of coming out party in some sense. Hey, like, hey, hold your horses
Yeah.
there. This guy, you built him up like a monster, this Scobie Snacks. I know he's got power and all that stuff, but let me show you how I get it done right there. I thought his jab was excellent. And the way he fought,
Yeah.
I mean, he outclassed him there, Boz, and picked up that 12th round stoppage. What are your thoughts on Adam Azine making some waves?
Yeah, very impressive performance. Really, Azim is definitely a true contender for the title there at 140. I mean, he's still at 140, I think, just because he's 23. He's still young, I think in a couple of years he'll be at 147. Definitely, he's he's 5'10", and
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, he looks even taller maybe because he's kind of skinny. But yeah, he just took apart that guy Scobie.
Yeah.
Scobie had a lot of that he did a lot of clowning around and seemed to have a lot of confidence, but that it didn't really show. It didn't really translate in the ring,
Yeah.
and
Tied to some
in the-
frustration.
yeah, and in the end, he just couldn't take any more punches and just sank
Hmm.
down to one knee, and that was it. And he did protest the stoppage, but he didn't want any more of that. Definitely,
No.
of that fire from Azim. He was really getting beat down there, and
Oh yeah.
Azim. I've been impressed by him like for a couple of years now. The way
Oh
he
yeah.
can really put the punches together, the combinations and all that. Really clean puncher, really, really very accurate. Definitely, I think he has a bright future ahead of him. If everything goes, if he's guided right, of course.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, no, I'm with you there, Boz. I'm there certainly with you. And of course, as you noted there, 147. So 147 has some pretty good things to look forward to. Am I right?
Mm.
147, right? He is the one
No,
or 140.
140.
140.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
no.
140. Yep, you're right. 140. So um,
Mm.
but 147 in the future, as you noted there. So that could be a
Yeah,
name up there for sure. Yeah, he's
definitely.
got some good size to him. But yeah, at 140, of course, we know they've got some good names there. By the time that well, it'll be interesting. Some of the bigger names at 140 have
Mm.
moved up to 147 or beyond, or gotten a little bit older there, and we'll see what's left in the mix. But they have a new crop, I guess, that's kind of blending their way in. The Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson, they're supposed to fight. That's a 140
Oh,
40-pound fight. When that goes down, Haney, he's at 147 already. Tank is going through some legal issues. We'll see where he ends up at if he's back in the ring. We got Gary Antoine Russell there at 140. Sabriel
oh
Matthias,
yeah.
he's there at 140. So some pretty good names there. With some
Oh
good fights.
yeah.
Liam Paro's there. Yeah, so
Yes.
140 has some names, so it'll be interesting to see who Azim could get in with. But yeah, I think it'll be a tough outing for pretty much anyone, just given his size and poise. I like the
Mm.
fact that he was very poised in that contest. He didn't let anything Scobie did shake his game, and he continued with the game
Yeah.
plan. And why switch it up when you're dominating?
He reminds me of young Amir Khan, definitely.
Okay, cool.
Azim. He has definitely
Maybe not.
similarities with him. And yeah, he is the way he throws the punches and all that, and really good at fast hands, pretty solid puncher too. Combinations, really good at throwing combinations, and not a really big like thundering puncher, but definitely he has the pop. Yeah, he has it. So
Oh yeah.
this is not his first stoppage, definitely. So yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to what's next for Adam Azim, folks. So we're gonna keep taps on him because he could do some special things here in the sport. So again, we're here at Boxing Chit. Josh and Boz holding it down. Be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't. We appreciate you as always. Hit up Boz's Boxing. Look for it right there in your search bar. It shouldn't be hard. BOZ, baby. That's how we do. Hey, I want to mention just another one briefly. I didn't get to see it, but it's not a lot to watch, so I will see the highlight.
Yeah.
Of course, Richard Riakporhe in his
Yeah,
heavyweight, in the
I
heavyweight ranks
saw.
these days. This may be his second or third fight at heavyweight. One of those, right, somewhere in there. And
Yeah,
yeah,
probably.
taking on Tom Welch, who was undefeated coming into it, but seemingly maybe it was easy work for Riakporhe there, Boz.
Yeah, wow, that was the way he landed the first knockdown. That was wow. I was like, holy shit, that right hand, my God, it did it land with a thud, and then the job was already done. You might say. After that, he scored two more knockdowns, and that was it. Tom Welch, obviously not. He's a tough guy, but Riakporhe can punch. That was obvious from the first moment I saw him. he's a puncher at cruiserweight and heavyweight. So he's
Okay.
seemed to really, translate it well into a heavyweight. And
Okay, that was
so
gonna
far,
be that's funny because I was gonna ask you just based on what you see so far, is the heavyweight move good one, a good legitimate one? But you mentioned his
yeah.
punching power that seems to
Yeah.
have translated.
Yeah, this was domestic level, but still, yeah, the power was. I mean, Welch was not some, some bomb that they dragged out of
Hmm.
somewhere, but yeah, the way he really put him down, I mean, that was pretty impressive, and yeah, I think we can expect to see Ryakpo anyway in the somewhere down the line fighting one of the, let's say, bigger names there. I hope so. I mean, at heavyweight it will be interesting anyway.
Or even
So
react for Bacoli, huh? Coley, I mean,
yeah, yeah,
Coley.
maybe Bacoli,
No,
yeah.
not Coley, Lawrence Coley. That's what I meant to say, but I
Oh,
didn't say
Coley,
Bacoli.
yeah.
But I guess
Yeah,
he could
now
do
they
Coley as well,
that's
but
true.
Lawrence Coley
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah, that's true. Now they are both heavyweights. Yeah, I mean, but Okoli looks like he has just gained too much weight, and while Rakpo
Mhm.
looked in perfect condition of those muscles. Oh my god, like he
Yeah.
was really in top shape, and he's 6'5", and so he's
Oh
a
yeah.
pretty standard height for a heavyweight of today, and so that shouldn't be a problem. Even there, of course, there are even taller guys, but. Not that much taller, except for Tyson Fury, who is now even at the end
Right.
of his career, pretty much
Yeah.
finished. So yeah. Anyway, maybe I would like to see him fight Dubois, even
Oh
Riakpo
yeah.
in future. Hmm.
With
Yeah,
Daniel Dynamite Dubois. Yeah, that would be an interesting one there, especially that aggressive
yeah,
Dubois style. Or at
mm,
least he's more aggressive with certain fighters. So that would be interesting
yeah,
there. For sure. And size wise, yeah, they match up. React for have an inch on them actually. When you look at it in height. So hey, maybe that's
yeah.
one that could happen.
Yeah, and I think the reason why he performed so poorly against Chris Billen Smith,
Yeah.
was because he was done as a cruiserweight. Obviously, by then he shouldn't have taken that fight.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he just didn't look himself. And I mean, when you can't be dominated by Chris Billen Smith like that, it's like it's a sign that something is wrong, with you. Definitely. I mean, no disrespect to Billen Smith, but
Yes. Yeah.
he's not exactly Jay Opetaya or someone. So,
Yeah, no, I feel where you're coming from for sure. I do feel where you're coming from. So CBS
mm,
out there making waves, but no, that's right there. So baby, hey, the future is bright for React for, and of course down at cruiserweight where he left and some of the others have left, but we're still waiting on Zerto J. Pataya. Now that you mentioned such, but it seems
mm.
like the ball is in the court of Zerto. Do you want it, Zerto? I gave you the benefit of the doubt. Do you want it, my friend?
If you want it, you take it.
That's what they say. That's what they say. Thank you here, folks. Hey, so Bob, I wanted to mention a fight that went down last night, which I thought was a pretty good, solid matchup. It was over on Top Rank Classics. You know, that's where Top Rank is operating now. Top Rank Classics. You can find it on some of those little channels like Roku channel. They're on Roku, Vizio, and Tubi. I downloaded Tubi to watch it actually, and it
Mm,
is Rafael Espinoza. He took on Arnold Kagai. For those that may not know, Arnold Kagai, Ukrainian fighter, he had been developed, I think, pretty decently. I think he's been on Showtime, the new generation, a few times, that type stuff. So I was very much familiar with him. I had seen him fight a number of times. Of course, we know Espinoza, world champion, seen him fight, and he's a hell of a fighter for sure. And Kagai, I felt coming into it, he would be technically, sound at
mm,
least because that's the type of fighter he is, and he'd be technically present in terms of doing what he typically does, and but it wouldn't be enough as far as just being able to withstand the onslaught of Rafael Espinoza,
mm.
who at 6'1" is a massive featherweight, six
Oh
foot
my
one, and he fights at 126 pounds, folks. So that's a lot to deal with. and especially given his style of fighting too. It's not like he's just sitting back resting on his laurels. He's aggressive and he throws a ton of punches. So that's something to deal with. Guys like that are always interesting. But Arnold Kagai, he showed me he was made of a little something there for sure, because he was down on the cards there after about 3 or 4 rounds or whatever, and really not doing enough or much. In his corner, he has a guy who's like trained under Manny Pacquiao's, or not Manny Pacquiao, but tied to Manny Pacquiao, but as Freddie Roach's second. I can't remember the guy's name, but he trained some other fighters as well. But he's usually a second there for Freddie Roach, especially during the time when he was training Pacquiao. But he told him, hey, you're going to have to get in, throw those overhands, and don't smother yourself too much on the inside there. Just get right there, overhand. So Kagai started doing it. Hey, he won some respect. Of course, as my girls even saying, you're going to have to take some shots to get to Rafael Espinoza, especially with that length and all, and Kagai had to do so. Eventually, it was in the 11th round TKO. After, it was stopped there at the beginning of the 11th. Really, he retired in his corner, but they just kind of started, more so formality, started the bell and did the count. But basically, it turns into an 11th round stoppage. And Kagai, he was game, but just too many shots coming from Rafael Espinoza there, Boz. I know you've seen him before. And, man, we'll see how he continues to operate there, sort of like an enigma right now here in these modern times there, given the statistics or given the stats or the measurables I'm giving you there. 6'1" at 126 with a high output that's a deadly combination.
Oh, yeah. He's a freak of nature. I mean, I thought, Ali Funeka, he was a 6'1" lightweight. I thought that was just, abnormal. But now we got a featherweight who is that same height. That's far out, Yeah. I mean, actually, I don't know if I've actually seen. He stopped Robesi Ramirez.
Robesi,
All right.
Made Robesi retire in his corner. So he's Nomas, essentially.
Yeah, he's kind of the same kind of fighter as Fundora. Fundora is also the guy who usually, makes opponents quit. So with just incessant attack, and so those fighters are very hard to beat, really. I mean,
no, they are, and I think he's going to be one poised for a reign. The question was, will it be a long reign, or is this his moment right here in time? Time will tell. But there's some other good fighters at 126. You got Nick Ball, you got Angelo Leo, the other champions there. You got I think someone else has a belt. I can't remember.
Imagine Nick Ball versus Espinoza.
That's the one I want to see right there, to be honest with you. I want to see that one.
I don't think that would be Nick Ball just hitting just at his belt line all the time.
I want to see that one. That would be the equivalent of Barbados Joe Walcott taking on Joe Kowinski from back in the day in terms of just like the height differences. I want to see it. Nick Ball, Rafael Espinoza. It's going to look awkward, folks, but it will tell us a lot.
Or, when Panama Al Brown fought at bantamweight, he was
Al Brown.
5'11" or something. I don't know, 5'10".
Oh wow, that's crazy. Panama. I need to look more into Panama Al Brown, but I do know who you're talking about right there. I think I want to do something on him. As a matter of fact, I had started to. I put his name down on the listing that I have that I want to do something on Panama Al Brown. I think he has a very interesting story that'll be good and one people should hear. So we'll see how that goes. But interesting stuff there. I wanted to mention that. So Rafael Espinoza, he moves on. We'll see what's next for him. And this went down in Mexico. It was in Reno Coliseo, San Luis Potosi, Mexico. So it was cool. Emiliano Vargas, he picked up a unanimous decision victory as well there. Wanted to note Emiliano, son of Fernando Vargas, former world champion. So he won there also by Lindolfo Delgado, who coming up the ranks was in a tough fight where he won a split decision that could have gone the other way. So I want to know him. And then, of course, the American heavyweight Richard Torres Jr. took on this guy by the name of Salik. We've seen Salik, who's a Czech fighter. I think he's Czech. And big heavyweight. But Torres was just all over him from the jump and ended up hitting him with a shot that seemingly broke his nose. And Salik was done. So just want to note that one there, folks. Salik didn't really do much, didn't throw a ton of punches. I don't really remember him landing anything, but he had his nose broken. So I want to note that. So I mentioned those. And then because we didn't do it last week there, I want to get your thoughts there, Boz, on Lubin versus Ortiz, because that was a fight that went down recently as well. And it was another pretty dominant one right there.
Yeah, that one. Oh, yeah. That was just a blowout, you might say, by Ortiz. Yes, Lubin tried, but he was just oh my God, overpowered by the beast. You know, that was quite a fight. I mean, 2 rounds, but what a fight while it lasted. I mean, what can you say? Ortiz was just in his right element, and you know, when he's really at his best, he's almost unstoppable, especially for a guy that's not a slick defensive fighter like Lubin, and who is a puncher himself, you know, kind of, So
he's interesting. He's definitely interesting.
That's how it goes. The result is given beforehand. It's like, who is the bigger beast of the two? That guy wins, you know. So,
And I think that makes Ortiz versus Boots very interesting there, Boz. That's one that I think a lot of fans are clamoring for, and we just may get it here early next year.
Hopefully. I know I did hear something about that. De La Hoya said something like he didn't want to make that fight right now. That's really crazy, but I hope he's just, you know, talking nonsense there.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting right there. Now, no better time than now.
Those promoters like to play, you know, hard to get something hardball, as you say.
Oh yeah. De La Hoya, sort of a master of that right there. But hey, he's gotta make something happen. He's definitely got to do something. So we'll see. But no, that was a good one, and that card in itself was not bad, just from an overall perspective. But real quick, Boz, we're gonna look into what's next because we have a pretty, I'm pretty sure a pretty decent one coming up. Yep, decent one coming up this weekend. Of course, on Friday, Chris Eubank is going to be fighting. I just wanted to note that. Then there's a pro box card, Verone Villa, that's going to be on Friday as well. So 2 to look forward there. But coming up this Saturday, the 22nd, a major one there, Boz. We're going to have the Mexican monster, David Benavidez, taking on Anthony Yard. And it's going down in Riyadh. WBC and WBA World Light Heavyweight Championship titles on the line there. This is a big one. 3rd fight, I believe, for Benavidez at light heavyweight. And it's one that is going to be interesting. Anthony Yard, he gets another shot at a title. Interestingly enough, he hasn't won a title, I don't believe, but he's been right there amongst the title contenders, the titleists. And his name has been there for a good little bit now. So here goes another opportunity. Just unfortunately, at least, and I'm not trying to put things into people's head. He's just going up against a tough guy in terms of this outing. I mean, he had to go up against a prime Kovalev trying to win his title the first time. And now he's got a prime David Benavidez. So interesting there for Anthony Yard. And as Clubber D says, please no Spence Ortiz. I doubt, not that. But anyway, what are your thoughts there, Boz, Benavidez, Anthony Yard?
Yeah, Anthony Yard has been around, you know, for a while now. He's no spring chicken. He's like 34. So, but having said that, he has done well lately. Anyway, 4 wins, 4 straight wins, and I don't know. I think he is the bigger puncher here. Definitely, he's got a puncher's chance, I guess you might say. But I don't know. He hasn't like who has he really knocked out of the really good fighters? I don't know.
Lyndon Arthur.
They're all, what?
I said Lyndon Arthur.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But you
Lyndon
know,
Arthur. Yeah, that's true. That's probably his best knockout win. Yeah, yeah. So, but better Benavides. Sorry, I don't know. I think he will be too much for him also, and Yard sometimes doesn't always go all out, and I don't know
yeah,
why, but sometimes he can do well and have a guy hurt, and then just for some reason he just loses it and lets them get away like he did with I think with Kovalev. He had him
oh
hurt,
yeah,
yeah, in the eighth round, I believe, and
definitely.
but that was it. He couldn't follow up after that, and he got taken out. So
That was his major test, and he did pretty well there for a period.
yeah, I think the same thing might very well happen here. He might hurt or even drop Benavides, but then Benavides, I see him getting up and coming back and just bang bang bang,
Hmm.
stopping him, or yeah, maybe late or something. Yeah, but
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, as I said, Yard has a puncher's chance, but Benavides has a good chin, definitely too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Certainly not to be counted out there, Anthony Yarde, because hey, he does have the pop to be able to do some things. David Benavidez, hey, he's on a roll right now, and hey, one of the best fighters in the world there, pound for pound, top 10 in my eyes. So he's gonna make things pretty interesting for sure. So we look forward to that and what comes out about in the aftermath. But also there, which I'm assuming is going to be the co-main there, Boz, is going to be Devin Haney taking on Brian Norman Jr. for welterweight supremacy in the sense of no, they don't have all the titles, but I guess the person coming out of this, you can consider, hey, maybe potentially the top dog there at welterweight with some of the changes in names that have moved around there. So, I want to get your thoughts on that contest there, Norman Jr., Devin Haney.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That's
And I'll note there,
very.
Boz Haney, he just jumped up to 147. Oh, I guess he against Ramirez, that was 147, though Ramirez not really a
Mm,
147 pounder. So this is this legitimate test there, second fight at 147.
yeah. I think Brian Norman Jr. is has been at welterweight for much long. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
longer
Mm-hmm.
than Haney. Yeah, he's the
Remember,
bigger, I guess,
Norman did a
guy.
demolition job on Giovanni Santillan.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, and Haney is not a puncher, of course, and he's. I mean, he is lucky that he still got a zero on his record for sure. You might say. I mean, he had a really disputed win over Lomachenko, and then Ryan Garcia thing. We know what happened there, and so he's definitely not untouchable, for to put
Yeah.
it that way. But yeah, he is that kind of definitely very good defensive boxer for sure. But Brian Norman Jr. has really been on a roll lately, and
Yeah.
yeah, he's been really destroying some solid guys, and I can see him definitely. Well, maybe not destroying Haney, but I can see him winning this fight. But yeah, there are big question marks, around this fight because Haney is, he hasn't really fought that much, in the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. You don't know what kind of Haney we will see. So if you see the best Haney, and then he will probably outbox Brian Norman Jr. But if not, then Norman Jr. can even stop him. Who
Mm.
knows? Mm.
No, good assessment. Good assessment there, I must say. Yeah. Certainly capable there. Caney, he has been hurt. Got some of the lower weights for sure. And
Yeah.
Norman, hey, he seems to have a bit of pop to him, a little bit of pop. He can get it done, just depending on the situation. But of course, Haney, he does have some pretty solid defense, despite him being caught at times. His defense is solid from an overall perspective, so that makes it interesting there. I will say that when I saw them standing next to each other, one thing that stood out is, despite Norman Jr. being the 147-pound champion, Haney, the size certainly shouldn't be an issue, because Haney looks bigger than Norman Jr. When they're standing there next to each other, which is pretty amazing considering he's a 135er, And,
he's a little taller, definitely. I know.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's he was big at lightweight, definitely, and
right. So I imagine, he was nearly killing himself to make that at the later stages of his time there at 135. And you could even see some of that kind of in the second fight there with George Kambosos, when he had to make that weight again. Haney, he's an interesting one. Clubber D mentions Haney filled out for sure, no doubt. So that makes it interesting for me there. We'll see. I got to think on the pick. I see it as kind of 50-50, though a lot of people lean more with Norman Jr. And of course, if we think about stoppage win, then the consensus is likely going to lean towards Norman Jr. But Haney, hey, you can see a pathway to decision for him. Maybe not this overly cautious Haney, or hopefully we don't get that overly cautious Haney that we saw in the Ramirez fight, because that's definitely going to make it a potential stinker in terms of entertainment value. But then again, maybe that's the version of Haney that could eke out points victory, but we don't want to see that.
Yeah. Haney isn't stopping Norman Jr. Definitely. That would take a miracle, you might say, for that.
Oh yeah. So it'll be interesting there, folks. So it'll be interesting to also see what others think there in terms of that particular contest. So I look forward to it. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it here at the end of this weekend. We'll talk about it in the next episode as far as what happens, but picks wise, it seems like we're both kind of 50-50. Yeah, depends on the type of fight that goes down, really. Depends on the type.
Yeah. That's why I don't really do so much predictions anymore. I used to do prediction videos, and now I'm like, no, only if I really kind of am quite safe, on the fight, on the outcome. But otherwise, I don't like it can be, like, if you are wrong, of course, then people will say, "Oh, he doesn't know so well." After all, he's not such an expert. If you're right, of course, you get praise for that. So
yeah, I get them wrong often. I will say there, Boz. I get them wrong pretty often. But
that's
good.
I guess in all sports it's like that. It's hard to. That's why it's not so clever to bet on sports.
Not an exact science, as some may want to think it is, but it's not an exact science for sure.
I might say I did have a feeling that Conor Benn would win last night, so I was right there. Yeah,
that intuition kicked in. Like, it seems like right.
Yeah,
good stuff. This card, this is actually a pretty stacked card. Another fight that I'm looking forward to. Sam Noakes taking on Abdullah Mason right there. I think that is a pretty good one. I think some people might not know Sam Noakes of British fame there, but Noakes is a big puncher. Yeah, he's a big puncher, and I think that he can certainly test Abdullah Mason, especially from a chin perspective. So I think it's going to be a lot. Both will need to be locked in. But Abdullah Mason, certainly many people's prospect of the year over the last couple of years or whatever it may be. And he looks to have the good. So I'm looking forward to that one for sure.
Yeah. I have seen Noakes fight, but I can't just exactly remember which fight it was. Maybe Ryan Walsh or something. But there was rather recently, let's say. Yeah.
But he started out knocking out everyone in his first, how many ever fights, maybe 10 or so fights. He was knocking everyone out.
Yeah, he's 17-0 with 15 knockouts. That's impressive.
Yeah, so even more. So that's saying something right there. I think his last couple may have gone the distance or something like that, or within the last couple. So it's certainly like stepping it up more than you. They
Both
don't come
guys,
as easy.
both guys are really punchers, Mason. Also, yeah.
Yeah. So it's
So yeah,
interesting.
this.
Chins will
Hmm,
be checked. Chins will be checked, and we're gonna see. Hey, see who
yeah,
passes the test.
yeah.
Maybe the right time for both of them at that as well. Salute there to Skywalker Boxing dropped in. Be sure to go check him out, folks. Go subscribe to Skywalker Boxeo. He's doing his thing out there. You see him on Facebook, but you can also check him out here on YouTube. Skywalker Boxing Media doing his thing there. Appreciate you dropping by there, buddy. So you have that, Boz, and we're almost wrapping it up here for another damn good fight, title fight. Bam Rodriguez taking on
Oh,
Fernando Martinez in what should be a hell of a fight there, to be quite frank there, Boz, because Fernando Martinez, no slouch in there. He's I think Nicaraguan or maybe Argentinian. He's from Argentina.
mm,
So he has a bit of moxie to him, and he's a tough fighter. But we know Bam, that world class level fighter as well. And as far as I'm concerned, another top 10 pound for pounder in the world there in Bam Rodriguez. So I have no doubt that he's gonna come to the table for sure. What are your thoughts on that one? And shout out to my cousin, that a Real Ranger Danger. So go follow at the Real Ranger Danger there, folks. Content on that thing. Got to get with you there, cause appreciate you dropping by there, buddy. And Ranger Danger says you got Bam. He likes Bam in this contest, which is good to go. It's
me
Skywalker
too.
says busy in New Mexico lately. Hey, gotcha. But what do you think there? Bam, Fernando Martinez there, Boz.
Well, I see Martinez has got a pretty good stacked record here. I mean,
Oh
he's
yeah.
the guy who ended the long reign of Hervin Ancajas, the
Oh
Filipino,
yeah. He
really
did.
fine champion, and Kazuto Yoka is also beaten twice.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a real test for Bam, definitely. But yeah, he's just pretty much a wonder kid, this guy, and
Yeah.
I mean he's just destroyed pretty much everyone. I mean lately, and Sonny Edwards, Estrada, Pedro
Oh yeah.
Guevara, and the guy Cafu, yeah, also, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. He said Kafu was his toughest fight,
so
as a matter of fact.
but, yeah, so. But yeah, I think this might go the distance because this guy Martinez seems like a really kind of clever boxer, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, he's won most of his fights by decision. I mean, big fights, so he's not a puncher. I would say most likely. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He got an iron determination right there.
Mm.
He, I think his father used to train him and passed away, so he fights for him for
Oh,
sure, something to that tune. And he's just got an iron mentality to him. Fernando Martinez does, so it's gonna be I think he's gonna be game there. Decision will be likely, but hey, Bam, man, but he can certainly break a guy down over the course of a fight. But we'll see. Yeah, I'll be leaning slightly in favor of Bam because I do think that he is just on that sort of top 10 pound for pound, potentially top 5 pound for pound level. But there's no slight to Martinez, who has put in a lot of work for a guy who I believe is under 20 fights, right? He has about 17 fights or something, or close to it, to 20 fights.
yeah, 18.
Okay, so 18 fights. So he's put in a good deal of work there. So I look forward to that contest. I think it's a good one. Skywalker
He's
says,
also,
Andrew, was that?
he's also 9 years older, Martinez. By the way, I just saw that.
Okay. So yeah, there's a big one right here, folks. And this is on the same card, so it's a pretty stacked card. Skywalker says Angelo Leo's coming back February to defend in Albuquerque. Okay, good to go. Shout out to Angelo Leo, 126-pound champion. Another one we can see in there with Espinoza or Nick Ball or someone there in the 126-pound rank. So good stuff. Skywalker says they say boxing scene broke the news, but I posted the video a week before. Oh yeah, got to get that out there even more. Skywalker, got to do that even more. About to kick off that blog section. Got to get it back going on 86 Boxing. So hey, we're gonna post some of this breaking news there for sure, Skywalker. So hey, that's good stuff. You broke that. We're gonna represent. We're gonna make sure we let it be known. Skywalker boxing news broke it. So good stuff there. But yeah, so that's what's coming up for the weekend. Vito Milnicki Jr. He's going to be on that card as well. Then there's some other fights and all that stuff going down, but we're going to talk about some of those, and we're going to have some other good ones that are coming up the week after. But man, hey, a lot of good boxing going down here, Boz, and I guess even more to come there with His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh involved in the sport there. So hey, let's keep it going, baby. Let's keep it going. So appreciate everyone who dropped by to show us some love here. Boz holding it down, of course. And Josh here, 86 Boxing, Boz's Boxing. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe to all of the channels. And be sure to turn on those notifications because we will be back. And before I head out, I wanted to note that I will be doing a live stream tomorrow. Be sure to come check that out with Kelly Riley Baldwin. We're going to be talking about Muhammad Ali and her time spent with Muhammad Ali at training camp. All that good stuff there. Some of the things she learned. She's written a book. All of that. So Kelly Riley Baldwin, going to be talking to her tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, folks. So be there or be square. Salute to all came in. Thanks for the nods there. So appreciate your Clubber D there. Going to be mentioned good show. Then Skywalker tuning in. Appreciate you there, Skywalker. So hey, thank you all. Any last words there, Boz?
Yeah, not just stay tuned. I mean, there will be a lot to watch and to talk about also in future. See you soon.
Yeah. Shout out to Omar as well. Omar, gonna be doing that track. Got to get to the studio. I'm gonna make that happen here very shortly. So I got you there, Omar. Appreciate you there, buddy. But yeah, thanks all who dropped by, showed some love. We'll be back. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Do that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.